និន្នាសង្គ្រោះបំរើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរត្រឹមរកគ្នាពីមពីសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរប្រស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសេដ្ឋកិច្ចថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រោកឡើងសង្គ្រោះជាតិខេមរាបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យចំដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរស់សេងសានជ័យយោគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិសមាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាថ្មីគ្មានសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបំរើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរត្រឹមរកគ្នាពីមពីសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរប្រស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសេដ្ឋកិច្ចថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រោកឡើងសង្គ្រោះជាតិខេមរាបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យចំផ្ដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរស់សេងសាន
Jumrip Su and welcome. Thank you for joining our show today. Hello and good evening, good morning, wherever you may be at. Today is November 16, 2021. Again, welcome to Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP-A, the CNRP-America Facebook Live. My name is Linda Wu and I will be your host for tonight. I am broadcasting live from Los Angeles, California. So again, welcome and thank you as always. Before we start, please help to support our petitions ending impunity for justice in Cambodia at change.org. So far we have 112,000 signatures. So please help and to continue to sign our petitions. Together we fight to end impunity, justice for victims of state-backed killings in Cambodia. I have a short video clip. Please help to view and also please help to share and still sign the petitions as always. Thank you for your support, and we've been doing the petition for over a year. So Her Excellency Mosaku is thanking you, personally you, that helped to help push the signature at 112,000 right now. Thank you so much.
អីប៉ាធ្វើល្អបានគេសម្រាប់
រដ្ឋប្រហារថ្ងៃទី5ទី6ជីវជាត្រូវបានថ្មកំភ្លើងបានសម្រាប់
នេះជាប់ពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលនេះអ្នកស្រីពីស្រុក
លោកបណ្ឌិតកាន់លីត្រូវបានថ្មកំភ្លើងបានសម្រាប់
3 គ្រាប់ការពារកដាលប៉ុន្តែត្រាក់បេះដូងលែងដើរដើមសកុតភ្លៀង
ខ្ញុំសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណទៅដល់បងប្អូនដែលបានចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខា លើញាត់
យុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅកម្ពុជា
តាមនិយាយទាំងអស់ពាក្យពេញពិភពលោកបានចូលរួម
ធ្វើនៅកាតព្វកិច្ចដ៏សំខាន់មួយ
ពិសេសយុវជនដែលបានចូលរួមញត្តិបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជារបស់យើង
ហើយក៏ជាលើកទី1នៅក្នុងប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រដែលបងប្អូនខ្មែរទូទាំងពិភពលោកអាចមានឱកាសចូលរួមស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌
ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតទៅ
ហើយដល់ពេលនេះញាត់យើងបានជាង 100000
ដែលញត្តិរបស់យើងគឺមានចំនួន 100000 ជាងហើយ
មិនដែលមានញាត់ណាមានខ្ពស់ដល់ប៉ុណ្ណឹងហើយនីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដែលយើងចង់បញ្ចប់គឺករណីសម្រាប់ដោយអត់ដូចជាករណីលោកជាវិជាករណីលោកស្រីពិសិដ្ឋលក្ខណៈចាក់នៃលោកករណីលោកឈុតវិធីករណីនៃបដិជនសំបុនធឿន
បានសម្លាប់រំពាលទៅលើពលរដ្ឋទៅលើអ្នកចេះដឹងទៅលើអ្នកដែលឈឺឆ្អាលរឿងប្រទេសជាតិរឿងនយោបាយ
ហើយបន្តែប៉ុណ្ណោះយើងនឹងស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាទៀតមិនឲ្យមានការកាប់សម្លាប់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋក្រៅប្រព័ន្ធច្បាប់នោះទេ
ដូច្នេះយុទ្ធនាការនេះគឺជាយន្តការអន្តរជាតិមួយដើម្បីជួយរកយុត្តិធម៌គាត់តាមរយៈអន្តរជាតិ
ដើម្បីយើងប្តឹងទៅតុលាការអន្តរជាតិជួយរកភាពយុត្តិធម៌ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិត
ញាត់ដែលយើងបានមកចុះហត្ថលេខាជាង 100000 នាក់នេះគឺយើងយកទៅអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដើម្បីទាមទារឲ្យអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដឹងថាត្រូវតែមានការស៊ើបអង្កេតដោយឯករាជ្យលើករណីទាំងអស់នេះ
លុះត្រាតែបងប្អូនយើងទាំងអស់គ្នានៅក្នុងស្រុកនិងក្រៅស្រុកចូលរួមឲ្យបានច្រើនបន្តនៅយុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
ដូច្នេះសូមបន្តចុះញត្តិឲ្យបានច្រើនគ្រប់គ្នាបន្ថែមទៀត
ហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាពុកម៉ែបងប្អូននឹងបន្តចុះញត្តិអនឡាញនេះបន្តទៅទៀត
ដើម្បីឈានទៅរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនដល់ជនរងគ្រោះឲ្យបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
ដោយគ្រាន់តែបងប្អូនមានត្រឹមតែទូរស័ព្ទដៃមួយគ្រឿងនេះគឺជារឿងអស្ចារ្យមួយនៅក្នុងសតវត្សទី21នាសម័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យានេះ
យើងរួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
ចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងកម្ពុជា
យើងចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជាទាំងអស់គ្នា
យើងរួមគ្នាដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
ដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពឲ្យមានយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
រួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
រួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
សូមបងប្អូនចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខាលើញាត់របស់យើងដើម្បីបញ្ចប់វប្បធម៌នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដើម្បីរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនទៅដល់អ្នកដែលរងគ្រោះ
ចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
Welcome back. Please again continue to support our petitions ending impunity for justice in Cambodia at change.org. Your signature, your help, and also your participations in the at change.org. Share the petitions. Encourage your friend and family to sign the petitions again at change.org, ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Before I start, I would like to hello and welcome, and also to say a little bit about the purpose of this show. The purpose of this show tonight is to bring awareness to the awful political situation in Cambodia. Tonight, guests will help us with our journey to listening and also understanding from a personal perspective so that we can be better informed to do our part to help out Cambodia. So please, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here with us. And also thank you. Don't forget to share our show. I have two wonderful guests tonight. They both been here before. Let me bring out one first of my guests. Her name is Brittany Baker. She is our CNRP-A supporter from Columbus, Ohio. She lived in Cambodia before. She's a volunteer with Peace Corps. So let me bring her out and have her tell a little bit on what she's been up to. Okay. Brittany, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me back.
So how's Brittany been? It's been a while. How have you been in Columbus, Ohio?
Yes, here in Columbus. It has been a couple of months since I last joined you. Just been busy with work and school and working with the community here. But I'm thankful for a chance to be back tonight.
Thank you for being here. Yes. For my end, it's kind of froze, so I can't get cut off. So, is it cold yet in Columbus, Ohio, or is it how the weather?
Yeah, the Ohio weather, it changes. It could be even from hour to hour, it changes. On Sunday, it was snowing for like 6 or 7 hours. And then tomorrow, the weather should be in the 60s. So it's all over here in Ohio.
No, that is beautiful. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Let me bring my next guest. His name is Samady. He is the youth president of CNRP-A in Los Angeles, California. Let me bring him out. So Samady, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for always being here, and thank you for always sacrifice your time to be with me and to be with our audience. So how is Samady doing?
I'm doing good. Just busy with finals since school's gonna be out in December, early December. So just trying to pass all the class.
Thank you. Thank you, Samady. Let me bring both of my guests. We're going to start out the show with current event, so that way all of our audience we catch up with what's going on in Cambodia. Also, it's depend on different topic. We talk about a different current events. So let me bring Brittany out. Okay, Brittany. Somebody gonna start off with a current event. Somebody, what do you have for us so that way we can? This is like a round table discussion of current event today.
Well, there's a lot of new current event happening in Cambodia and is benefit us for CNRP, like 4-year anniversary of CNRP that has been dissolved by the Hun Sen regime, and we see that after 4 years, CNRP still exists. We are not going anywhere because Hun Sen, the reason he dissolved CNRP from Cambodia is because to get rid of the voice of the people, basically, the opposition view of things when the government did something wrong. By dissolving it, at least he hoped it would solve the problem. But now CNRP still exists, and we have done many great things. For example, we have gotten the petition to over 100,000. Be able to get the national community to put more pressures under the regime. As you can see, he releases all the political prisoner that has been arrested, like Lakru Ong Chun and other youth. That has been arrested. So this is huge news for democracy. And also, as you can see, I think yesterday the judge confiscated the president of CNRP, Mr. Samransi, property, which is the CNRP headquarters, because I think a few days, like last week, the U.S. government has freezed the top position Cambodian leaders under Hun Sen. They freeze their asset in the U.S. They probably got upset and they decided to take Mr. Samransi asset in Cambodia. But Mr. Samransi said that he will not be tied to this materialistic things because he is the person who like freedom. And he would not let anything hold him down. He said he doesn't care if the government take his building or his house in Cambodia, because what's more important than those materialistic things is the freedom of Cambodian people and genuine democracy. Thank you, Vaughn. That's for the current
Thank you, Samady. Thank you for bringing up to speed. Yes, today is the 4-year anniversary of CPP dissolved CNRP in Cambodia. Brittany, you were in Cambodia 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, since I wasn't there, can you help us, Samady and I know our audience, to describe what it was like 4 years ago in Cambodia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. This was, from my perspective, a lot of commotion, people sort of being a little bit careful, more careful, I can say, with their reaction, despite feeling very strongly about the call to resolve the party. I think, as Samady said, we cannot sort of suppress an ideology or something that people have in their hearts. Like it's not a material thing. Like just because the party is no longer on the ballot doesn't mean the party was dissolved overnight. So there was a lot of emotions and tension, and people not feeling like they had an outlet at that time. A lot of feelings of unfairness and injustice. And again, speaking from my perspective as a American worker at that time, there was a lot of uncertainty for us working in the country. We worked all over the country with local people, and just a lot of like uncertainty about if we were allowed to stay there with our mission and continue working with the Cambodian people, or if we had to return, because that decision created a lot of unstable institutions and just further destabilized progress in the country.
Did you recall how long after that you left, after what's going on with the CNRP, the dissolve, and how the president Kum Sakha was arrested? How do you recall how long after that you were in Cambodia?
Yeah, actually, our assignment was supposed to go after the election, but because of the political climate at the time and the history of this election every 5 years, and how unstable it was and perhaps unsafe it was for Americans to be there at that time, our assignment was actually ended prior to the national election. So all of the American volunteers were given a ticket or whatever was their exit plan. But personally, I stayed through the election because I had some connections in the country that allowed me to stay there. And I had to weigh my efforts, or weigh the risk that I was taking to stay there. But I chose to stay there after the election, despite our mission, our term being up before the national election.
So it, from what you remember, was very, very chaotic.
It was very chaotic, yeah, and different, chaotic in the countryside where I worked for several years, and then chaotic in a different way in the cities.
And since you've been there, and like somebody said, after 4 years, CNRP supporter is still CNRP supporter. The number doesn't go down. Everything out. It's just international community going to be sanctioned some more after 4 years. How do you feel? Did you feel that where is CNRP supporter for the last 4 years? Are they still there with CNRP, or are they where are they? I mean, are they still alive? I guess that's what the questions.
Yeah, another good question. There's a quote that I like to think about when we talk about this. It's the quote is, "They tried to destroy us, but they didn't realize that we were seeds." So as much as you can try to suppress an idea or something, the idea just becomes stronger. And whether people are moving outside of Cambodia to be migrant workers or for their own safety, wherever they might be, the idea that they have in their hearts and in their mind is, in my opinion, in my experience, as strong as ever.
Thank you, Brittany, and thank you, Samady, for bringing the current event. I just want to let our audience know our topic today is Cambodia's ASEAN chairmanship, cracking down on dissenting voices. So it's basically tied to our current topic, where it's been 4 years and the dissenting voices is not dying down. So what is an ASEAN? ASEAN, basically on October 28 last week, Cambodia officially took over the Association of Southeast Asia Nations, called ASEAN, chairmanship for the third time since joining the group in 1999. The previous chairmanship was Brunei. So basically, every year it rotates. It has 10 Southeast Asia country joining this ASEAN group. So it has Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and of course Vietnam. So this in 2022, even though they officially took over this year, it's actually 2022. Cambodia is the chairman. Let me advise it upon to be the chairman due to the power and the prestigious of being a chairman. Brunei last year, but not last 2021, when they were able to do they were able to have meetings and summit, including one with President Joe Biden, and also the Group 20, which is called G20, which comprise of the world major economic country, and also Brunei was got invited to leader to many summit afterward. Now it's Cambodian time. From now until next year is Cambodia, and the head of that chairman is Hun Sen. Samady, do you feel that people gonna come and join these summit in Cambodia, join these as a chairman, because we are a host? Do you feel like people gonna come, different country gonna come and fiscally the what the country wanted in Senate's COVID-19 already kind of died down. They want to be fiscally meeting, because I believe last year was just online. Do you feel that other country gonna come and join and have this big get together?
Yes, well, I will. I believe all of the country will join because in person this time, because one, they would like to help Cambodia resolve the issues that currently happening in the country, even though they are the host. And on the other hand, for Brunei, as you can see on the last summit, they did not invite Myanmar into the summit because they said they violated human rights, and we will wait. We will stand and wait with Myanmar, but until they can return to normalcy, they cannot join this type of summit from the country that gathered together. That's the great thing about Brunei. They have many things done during this summit. Cambodia, on the other hand, Hun Sen would like to show that he is the leader and the chairman, and to show that he is righteous by releasing all these political prisoners, because he doesn't want us to use that to attack him. So, but then he decided to arrest the two CNRP supporter youth who very active and point out their voice on Facebook Live. They got arrested in Thailand and being deported back to Cambodia as of right now. So he just kind of shoot himself on the foot again. We can use this to bring up to the summit when it's happened to Hun Sen, and I believe he can't even solve his own country issues, but at the same time he tried to call upon Myanmar to come join this summit and solve their problem. So that's the thing that I don't really understand, because as a leader you should look ahead, not backward, and in this case Hun Sen just looked backward, even though Myanmar hasn't shown any signs of improving their country personally, and Hun Sen would like to resolve other people's issues instead of his own issues in Cambodia.
Thank you, Samady. Now, Brittany, do you feel that we're gonna, can you feel that Cambodia gonna be having this big summit, this big meeting where all these, just say last year was Joe Biden was joining, another Joe Biden gonna join, and also is it other world leader gonna be, showing up like a celebration? Is that you feel like that, or you gonna feel that, it's very quiet?
I think if we look at the long history of human rights abuses under this regime and how things were handled with COVID and this regime's alignment with China, or always referring to China and accepting guidance, I suppose you could say, from China, then my guess would be no, that Cambodia would not have the same response as the previous chair leaders in this. And at this time, as we are coming out of COVID and we're looking for a strong alliance among ASEAN countries, what's needed now is that strong leadership. And I'm not sure if the priorities are there to make that leadership a priority to develop the countries, the 10 countries that are in the association.
The other beside there's being a host, the responsible of the host is to solve issue in the in Southeast Asia with those 9 other countries. The main topic would be COVID-19, because COVID-19 is also happening in Asia, and most Asia is affected, especially tourism or in the other industry. November 1st, when Cambodia finally opened the door to open the country up, where the school is open and everything is open. At the same time, Hun Sen, or the Cambodia chairman, is forced to solve COVID-19, meaning that many countries is facing financial and economic hardship. So when they do that, we're talking about to America, talking about to EU on borrowing money. So even though Cambodia is very close to China, China alone cannot help with financial issues. So it forced Cambodia, who's the chairman, to negotiate or to talk to the United States, the EU. How do you feel, Samady? Does Hun Sen have a ball in a great field to even communicate like that with the EU regarding his situation with EU, and also with his love-hate relationship with the United States?
So I think yesterday, in one of his top official, I forgot his name, he released a statement that it's not that Cambodia doesn't like the Western way of thinking, and or the U.S. way of thinking. By Western, I mean like European Union and the U.S. and so on. Is that the U.S. That's what the top official said, is that the U.S. never helped Cambodia with anything. Like for road, like they compare like how Japan give Cambodia like hundreds of $1 millions to bid on the road so they can improve Cambodia economy. China help lending money to help improve economy, and why is the U.S., who never help Cambodian economy, would like have a say in it? That's his meaning. So instead of trying to fix the issues with the U.S. by receiving funds from the U.S. for free without any tying to Cambodia economy, he just like pure gasoline on fire by him attacking the U.S. So I don't see any relationship being built with the U.S. or the Europe, because Hun Sen is really mad that the U.S. Want free and fair elections, for him to respect human rights, and to follow a genuine democracy that Cambodian said that they want to seek for a long time. But behind the table, he violate all of them. So I feel like he's not going to build a relationship with the Western democracy country.
Thank you, Samady. How about you, Brittany? Do you feel that Hun Sen, I mean himself, he is the chairman, so I'm sure most likely him and his cabinet are going to have to go out and negotiate with United States, United Kingdom, and European Union in order to help all these other nine Asia country that been facing the COVID-19, and you are aware COVID-19 is very severe in Asia as well, not just United States or the European Union.
Right. I think considering the human rights abuses, despite releasing some political prisoners recently, if we look at the long trajectory of human rights abuses and under this regime over the last 40 years, these are things that the international community has always been calling out and holding accountable, whether that's restricting visas or putting sanctions on Cambodia. Releasing 24 political prisoners does not forgive all of the human rights abuses that has been committed under this administration, this regime. And these are things that the international community does not forget easily, right? So I don't think that they are equipped to fill this leadership position. And I think especially now, not only with the COVID crisis and coming out of economic decline, but if we consider the leadership that's needed in the area with Burma, with Myanmar, with the situation there, then I really worry about the lack of progress that we'll see over the next year and the lack of leadership as a result of the chairperson role going back to Cambodia.
Do you recall in 2012, right? 2012, that the last time was 10 years ago that Cambodia was a chair. Do you recall, both you and Samady, what did Cambodia, as an embarrassment, what did they do? What did Hun Sen actually did in 2012? Samady can start first, and then you can, Brittany. So now you brought it up about the historic long sheet of stuff that Cambodia been not able to accomplish.
The purpose of this ASEAN summit is to collect all the country, come together and try to resolve the issue politically, economically, on a educational level, and so on, to improve the country economic. But during that time, 2012, all of the world leaders see this summit as a joke, and they see it as ineffective under Hun Sen. He doesn't resolve any issue. Instead, he made it worse. So that's all I have to say for 2012 summit. Because if the other country is saying that you are the host of trying to resolve all these issues, and you're not doing anything to solve it, and said that you are ineffective openly, that is an embarrassment to Hun Sen regime. So I don't know why they let him host again. Maybe it's the location. It's more easier for country to join in person, but I don't think he's going to solve anything this time.
Yes, it is correct, Samady. It is rotations. Many people wonder how come a country like Cambodia, it's like we're such a backward in democracy and also disrespect to human rights. Why are they? Why is Cambodia hosting? But it's just a rotations. So the next 10 years, Cambodia going to be hosting again. Brittany, do you remember in 2012 what happened or what's going on that, Cambodia still got a bad reputation on this ASEAN?
Yeah, there at that time, just as there is in the current day, China was encroaching on the so-called South China Sea. And there was a need for a joint statement with all of the members of the association. And the language, there was a debate over the language that should be used in the joint statement, and Cambodia refused to move forward because they said the language was too strong against China. And so we can kind of trace even back 10 years ago, this allegiance with China and this deference to China. And so we can imagine fast forwarding to 2021, 2022, with further worsening relationships between Cambodia and the United States and Cambodian and other Western countries. We can kind of perhaps foresee what will happen over the next year with an even closer relationship with Cambodia and China.
Thank you, Brittany. Yes, I was showing the picture earlier where Hun Sen is, this is October 28, where the officially that Cambodia is officially the chairman of the ASEAN. And at the same time, he also threatened that, don't come and protest on too many people, not to everybody in Cambodia, telling them, your voices, if you disagree or you with the regime, he will take all the action. So that's what you have as a chairman. At the same time, this week alone, I believe this week and last week, it's over 25 prisoners was released, and we all happy that was released, that they all were released. But let me show some of their picture. It's a happy picture, but at the same time, they're not allowed to release, but with limited, very limited, meaning that they're not allowed to leave the country. There's limitations what they can and can do. And Samady brought it up a little bit that they are released because the Senate 28 to now, he trying to save his reputations. So what is it saying to the international community that, within, like, I believe within 2 weeks, within him having to being a chairman, 20 I believe 25 people, if I'm not correctly, probably even more, 25 people have been released, and those are political prisoners, those are activists, like Mother Nature. So they outside right now, but all of them come out that it's very limited what they can do and cannot do. Samady, what is he trying to tell the international community? What is he signaling to the United States and also signaling to the EU, the European Union?
I feel like he's tried to, as I said, try to show the international community, to the European Union, that he's a change man, and probably trying to get something out of it. In this case, funding is the most important one in Cambodia current economic. But I feel like those people that got arrested, they are not the type to sit still and listen to whatever Hun Sen and his regime told him what to say. Like Lukru Rongchon, when he got out of jail, you can see he was holding a microphone saying that he will not stay silent or backing down from the Cambodian regime oppressions. He will keep doing what benefit for Cambodian people, for the weak and the poor. And I believe if the Hun Sen regimes cannot take it, they probably gonna arrest him again, and it's kind of ruined Hun Sen's whole image of being righteous and prove that he's changed, trying to get all this fund. So I think they were arrested, released from the arrest for now, but in the future, if they said something against the government, like the Mother Nature, the girls who responsible for the plastic in Cambodia got arrested for that reason, they will get arrested again if they dare to speak against the government, which I believe there's a high chance of them not staying quiet, and they will express their opinion, because as you can see, they're not afraid of go to jail. So that's the thing that I have respect for them the most. They will not let the government tell them what to say and not what to say. And this is crucial into showing the international community that Hun Sen is a change man, but this might ruin his plan in the future.
It's a little bit change, man. He's actually released them, and at the same time, there's a limitation, like I said. So without them saying anything, without them, the activists, without the political prisoner, they don't have to say anything. It's his court. It's his. He can be pulled them back at any time. Samady, Brittany, sorry. How do you feel about the release from last week? We are very happy, but at the same time, like, it's just a show. It's like they can be back in prison anytime.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like you're allowed to go, but the leash is still connected there. So while it's a cause for celebration, I worry about what it means for those political prisoners after some time, after who knows what will happen that can cause that leash to be pulled back, or other people to be arrested. As we talked about earlier, two CNRP supporters were recently deported back from Thailand. And so there's a history of this. And while some are released, even more are arrested. And this is the cycle. So while I have hope, it's limited hope. And I also want to encourage all people, all listeners to the show tonight to watch the videos of the people that were released and listen to the messages of the political prisoners and the activists, and hear the common theme is they're excited to be released, of course, but the fight continues, and they will not be suppressed. And it's also, I think, important to watch the video of the mother of the boy who was released within this past week too, to hear about the state that her son was kept in during that time, and just imagine what type of person, what type of people would allow a young person with special needs to be kept like this. I think it says a lot about the leadership, the quote unquote leadership of the country.
Thank you, Brittany. Yes, we were excited. We were that they were released, and yes, the commentary, the statement that the prisoner that came out and gave a statement was very moving. And all the theme is they will continue to fight. They will continue to be the voices for the people, and they are with the people. Let me show a picture. Since we are talking about the prisoner release, at the same time, the regime also arrested these two people. Samady, can you tell me one of them, who they are? And then Brittany, you can tell me the other one as well, like who they are. So you can start, Samady. So our audience to know at the same time, these two people got arrested, and where were they, and what's going on?
Oh, okay. So for Mr. Samnang, I think they arrested him because he is one of the youth who have active voice in the Cambodian against the Cambodian government, and as a result, he got arrested in Thailand and deported from Thailand into the regime because he has always been active and voiced out his opinions against the government. Especially recently, he speak out a lot, both of them. So without any valid reason, they just arrest him for expressing his freedom of speech, which I don't understand why the Thai government let this happen, because they did not violate any law in Thailand. He just expressed his opinion against the Cambodian government, and as of right now, he got deported back to Cambodia and in jail without any valid reason. This is very unfair for the youth in Thailand, and especially they haven't committed any crime, just freedom of speech.
Thank you, Samady. Let me put up the picture. Brittany, can you introduce us to the other gentleman or the other youth that was got arrested in Thailand and sent back to Cambodia?
Sure. So I believe that Samnang is the one that the regime did not order, apparently did not order the arrest, but he was also a CNRP activist, both of them living in Thailand. So they were under the protection of UNHCR, so they are legally within their limits to live a safe life under international law and under Thai law. So they are officially, per my understanding, they were officially okay to be in Thailand. And I think it's yet another shameful act to crack down on young people who are expressing their feelings of wanting their government to do better for them. And rather than allowing the youth of your country to be active and to be engaged and to be civically involved in your country, we're seeing the opposite of that again. So while on one hand, the regime is releasing certain political prisoners, they're swooping up others, and they're working very unofficially with certain officials in Thailand to deport people that are legal and who are seeking protection under UNHCR laws. So it's yet another indication of the government being hostile to youth and to anyone who has a different opinion, any dissenters.
Thank you, Brittany. Let me read a little bit. It said the 1951 Refugee Conventions, to which Cambodia is a party, prohibit the return of a refugee in any manner whatsoever, in which include extraditions. So the international refugee law principle, basically that no one should be returned to a country that is likely to face persecution, torture, or other serious harm. So while Thailand is not a party to the Refugee Convention, it is bound to the principle of, under the customary international law that the state, they are bound to that. So the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhumane, Arrested, Reading Treatment. So basically, it's a deal. It's a deal that the regime wanted these two people back. One of them wrote a poem, basically responding to Hun Sen comment, and they are out for that. So as of so they got arrested and they sent back without any. Based what I read is they at nighttime, without any. The comment from my audience is very funny today. So we are laughing here. So thank you. That means Pauline, it's very nice of you. So yes, so without any negotiations, without any one, I mean they did very quickly. So it's likely nobody worked that quick unless you have something under the table, which is money. So the two people actually in jail. They are in what in Cambodia is called prison right now. And we have not heard of what their charges and anything. So I believe it's been 2 weeks they are in jail. So that is the situations. And Brittany, you were talking about a little bit about the situations on the Gatsuan Chai. He's 16 years old. He's with autism. I'm not sure you can see clearly from his feet. I don't know the situation in jail that how his feet like that, but it's a very sad to see. Finally, they release him, and as a result, we can see how his body and how he was tortured, basically. Brittany, do you have any comment on that regarding 16 years old Katsavan Chai?
Yeah, actually, Bong, when you asked me to join the show tonight, for a couple of weeks or a month or two now, I've been really busy, so I haven't been able to join. But because of this boy and watching the interview with his mom, I was like, I have to be here. I feel very passionate about this. As a teacher and as a social worker, this sort of violence against a youth, against someone with special needs, is something that I can't be silent about. And I hope that no one can be silent about this. And again, I encourage you to watch the interview with him and his mom a day or two after he was released last week. And the interviewer asked his mom, thinking about his autism and his special needs, have you noticed a difference in your son before he was in prison and since he's been out? And she said, yeah, she's noticed several different things. And I think that we need to take time to think again about the humanity of someone who would cause harm to a young boy with special needs. It's a call to action for all of us to use whatever power that we have to look at this situation and try to think about what sort of leadership would cause harm to a young person, and try to suppress his voice.
Thank you, Brittany. Samady, did you see his release? I was happy that he was out. I believe they were delaying his release by either a day or two. And when he came out, it was excitement. It was a relief, basically. So now he get to be in the care of his mother. And I just want to remind our audience, his father is also in jail. So it's the father and the son was, he finally is out. So do you have any comment regarding Katsavan Chai, that he's 16 years old and his autism, and without basically he was in jail for incitement and insulting the king on his Facebook post?
I believe the reason he got in jail in first place is it's not even valid or qualified for him to being arrested. I believe he should not be in jail in the first place, because one, he has autism and he's under 18, which is I think he go through the CNRP headquarter, right? And then because he loved the flag, he just take down the flag and
that was the first release. That was the first arrest. He was he went to the CNRP headquarters. Let me show you the headquarters where they are for sale right now. For how much, nobody know. I don't think that's a price, but yesterday, or I believe yesterday it was on sale. So he went in and he was collecting the flag. So it must be a place that his parents brought him. And it must have a sentimental value to him, that he went in there. So because he went trespassing, I guess that's the word. That's what his first arrest. So this one is the second arrest where he's posting that insulting the regime. So this is I believe he was sentenced to 8 months in jail, but he served 4 months and 15 days.
And I believe for a teenage who's not even at the age of 18 yet, they should put him in a separate jail and not at the same jail as other political prisoner, because he is a kid and he required special medical treat from the doctors. And as you can see in the picture, it seems like he has not been treated with any medical or has been under special care. Maybe they probably um, hit him. As you can see, the bruise on his feet, like inhumane conditions for the kids. So I don't know why they did that to a kid like that, and I am glad that he is free now. Hopefully, they won't arrested him again without any valid reason.
Thank you, Samady. And let's go back to the CNRP headquarters. That was our current event today. Earlier, we're talking about the 4-year anniversary, and at the same time, 4-year anniversary come with the news of the CNRP headquarters for sale. How much we still don't know. Where they selling it to or who having it. It's still a rumor lately, so it's rumor buzzing around. So when I have a confirmation of who it's sold to, we'll let you know. But and we almost are close at our show. Basically, we are talking about Cambodia as a chairman, an ASEAN chairman, and in that chairman responsibility is to help solve the main priority would be COVID-19, the COVID-19 unit financial assistance to the Southeast Asia, but at the same time that will force Hun Sen, who being the chairman, to negotiate with the United States, with the United Kingdom, and the EU. And since this is October 28, where Cambodia officially become the chairman, and since then, over 25 political and Mother Nature environmental activists been released from jail. And also 2 have been arrested as well from Thailand. We all were happy. We all were happy that they are released, but at the same time, we know for sure that they go back anytime. So we are at the end of the show. Brittany, do you have anything to add to our show, to say anything if I miss anything regarding tonight? I know you are very passionate, and thank you for being here. Anything you like to add?
No, Bong. Everything, I think you covered everything. There's a lot going on. We could probably talk about this for a couple more hours, but again, I think the message of the political prisoners that were semi-released over this past week is something that we all need to keep at the forefront of our minds about continuing the fight despite challenges, despite falling back a little bit. It's our duty to find that fight and to keep pushing forward in any way that we can.
Thank you, Brittany. And again, yes, that means Pauline said it correctly. Pauline Sum said it correctly. We also touch base on that it's not by vote. It's not by, he's so great in Southeast Asia, let him be a chairman. It's by default, and it's rotating. So it's time. 10 years ago, we were, Cambodia was the chair. And now again, 10 years ago was very disappointment, because I believe first time in the ASEAN, as an ASEAN, all 10 countries could not come out with agreement. So hopefully, we all sit here today and saying that, it's not something that it's going to change, because China play an active role and still play an active role in Cambodia. Samady, any last word that you want to say before we end our show today?
Pauline said, is by default, but under Hun Sen regime, he wanted to prove that he's a really great problem-solving leader. He can solve everyone's issues, even though in 2012 he failed to do so. I'm kind of excited to see what he can do to bring change, especially under COVID in Cambodia, because we suffered from tourism, from the international pressures and so on. And I'm kind of excited to see how we can solve those type of issues. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Samady, and thank you, Brittany, for today. I appreciate your time and for being here today. And as always, great topic, great conversations. And I hope our audience can understand and can also aware what's going on in Cambodia, especially our youth. This show is called Khmer Youth Voices for Justice, and Samady and I and Brittany, we are trying to bring, like I said, the purpose of the show is to bring awareness, the awful political situation in Cambodia. So thank you both for being here today.
Done.
And thank you, our audience, for being here tonight. I appreciate every one of you, and thank you for staying, watching our show. Thank you for commenting, and thank you for being here tonight. Like I said, tonight guests, which is Brittany and Samady, they from their personal point of view, they're telling us what's going on in Cambodia and the situations with Cambodia. So our guests have helped us with our journey to listening and learning from their perspective and how we can better equip to help our path out to Cambodia. As that, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being part of the show. And as always, please help to continue to support ending impunity for justice in Cambodia at change.org. Your support and your support is very vital. We are at 112,000 signatures, and we still need more. So your support is very important. As always, thank you for being here, and thank you for watching our show. Good night, and see you next week.